This is a special edition of Late Night Health. I'm Mark Alyn. We go to New Zealand and we're going to speak with our friend Greg Macpherson. Greg and I have talked, it's been years, Greg. We've been talking every now and then.
It has been. I'd like to think maybe even eight years. It's been a while,
Yeah,
Mark.
it's been
Always
a
enjoy
long
the
time.
conversation.
Yeah, hurry up and come back to the States or bring me to New Zealand. Greg has written a book, Harnessing the Nine Hallmarks of Aging. He's a biotechnologist, a pharmacist, a dad, a proud father, and a husband. And we're going to talk for the next 20 minutes or so about zombie cells. What are zombie cells?
Mark, zombie cells are like little cells that are like the living dead. They sit there and they don't have much use for us, but they hang around, lurk in our body, and they cause havoc. They wreak havoc. So we've just really started to realize what they do and identify them. And it turns out that if we remove them, it's good for us. So these are these cells, and they're really good for us and really useful when we're young. But as we age, we build up, and they are quite possibly responsible for all that inflammation that we enjoy as we age.
And the inflammation you're talking about is cellular inflammation,
Yeah,
rather than having a sprained ankle or something like that, that type of inflammation.
yeah.
Um, we talk about oxidation. I think we've even discussed it, where free radicals are zombie cells related to like a free radical?
They will increase the amount of oxidative stress inside the cell, definitely. But the main thing they do is that they like want to be removed from the body, so they pump out these inflammatory molecules. It's almost like an SOS for the immune system to sort of to wave over and get the immune system to come and get rid of them. But what happens is that there's just too many of them, and the immune system gets a little sleepy as we age, and so these zombie cells keep on pumping out their poison, if you will, and it affects all the cells around them. So it's not just oxidative stress, but it's actually lots of inflammatory chemicals that the body naturally produces, but it starts to overwhelm the body.
Has allopathic medicine accepted the fact that zombie cells exist?
Absolutely, yeah. Like it's yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything specifically from the allopathic's perspective on how to treat it. So but that will come. There are clinical trials happening with the Mayo Clinic where there are treatments for removing these zombie cells, or senescent cells is the technical name. So we'll know in the next 6 to 12 months what treatments we can use and what benefits they're going to deliver.
Is there something that we can do now to fight these zombie cells? And I know the first one is going to be exercise. All right, I promise I'll get out and walk.
Yeah, definitely. A little exercise, right? 100%. A little fasting, right? If you can responsibly, when I say responsibly, just don't be silly about it, but occasionally miss a meal or even 2 meals. And what that does is that helps the body trigger a housekeeping processes, something called autophagy, which helps the body clear out those zombie cells. But what they're learning now is that there are molecules that we can take, food that we can eat, that actually stimulate that process naturally as well. Things like the beautiful strawberry is an incredible fruit. But
And it even sounds better when you say it than when I say strawberry.
Right, good stuff. The Kiwi accent.
Strawberry. Yes, the
Strawberry.
accent is terrific. Okay.
Good stuff. So yeah, there's something inside strawberry called fisetin. It's like an antioxidant, but it stimulates the body to go in and kind of, well, basically, if you imagine a senescent cell's got 4 legs like a table, well, fisetin sort of kicks down 3 of those legs and it helps the body identify that zombie cell shouldn't be there and remove it.
Should those strawberries be organic, non-GMO?
100%, always.
Where I live is the strawberry capital of the world. Okay. That's Oxnard, California. I live near there in Ventura County, and there are all kinds of strawberry farms and fields. When it comes direct from the farmer, I don't know that they say that they're organic or non-GMO. In fact, I think they say they're organic. do you want organic and non-GMO, or if they're organic, they are non-GMO?
Yeah, like I mean, I think organic is the main thing there. The beauty of organic, right, is that these plants have an immune system, and if they have to fight, if they don't have pesticides on them, or they don't have, if life's a little tough for a strawberry, then it's going to build up so much more of these polyphenols and flavonols, these health-giving molecules, because they've got to fight for survival. And these polyphenols, these chemicals, are actually their immune system, right? So we get so much more benefit from plants that have had a struggle. And that's why there's a lot of fruits in New Zealand which are particularly well known for their high levels of these content, because they're fighting the high levels of UV that we experience down here. But yeah, definitely, if you go to the counter and you've got a choice between organic and non, you're going to get so much more nutritional value from an organic vegetable or fruit.
We also, I was thinking of green tea, because green tea is very high in polyphenols, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So that's one. Olive leaf, which I've heard of, but I don't suppose, and I love olives, but is that literally the leaf of an olive tree?
It is, yeah, absolutely. That olive tree is just such a beautiful thing. And so, we talk about all the benefits of the Mediterranean diet, and a lot of that's got to do with olive oil, but the olive leaf as well. And there's something called allopathic, which is it's actually responsible for most of the health benefits that you get from olive oil. And so you can, we've actually, I guess, encapsulated that. So you've got the benefit of olive oil inside a capsule. And what that particular molecule does is it activates the body's ability to recycle proteins, because what happens with proteins is they break down and they can clump. And the best example of that is Alzheimer's, with that protein clumping and affecting how we think and how our brain cells operate. Well, allopathic is something that helps the body regulate dysfunctional proteins and rebuild them. And so this is really helpful for us, because when that process is going, and it works really well when we're young, but when we're older, it doesn't. If we can stimulate that process, then that's really good for our cells, and it also is another way to help remove those zombie cells.
The protein here in the States, and I would assume in New Zealand and Australia and Europe, people are, you have to eat protein. Do we eat too much protein?
I think the answer is we probably eat it too often, right? So it's okay. It's not so much what you eat, it's when you eat, so to speak. So if we've got this amazing little molecular switch inside our cells, it's called Mtor. And what Mtor does is it's responsible for sensing whether we've got food in our system, protein, and when we do, it tells the body, hey, let's build some tissue. And when we don't have that, then it triggers the body to go, hey, we need to break down some tissue, do some recycling, get some energy from that. And so when we eat protein too much, then the body never has that chance to actually clear out, go into housekeeping mode and clear out some of those zombie cells and the junk cells. So I don't think, obviously there's a lot of people out there with a lot of different opinions, but I think, we are omnivores, and a little protein from time to time is certainly not going to hurt at all.
Well, down where you are, and I say down, it's relative, I suppose. I don't know if I'm up or not, but lamb is, New Zealand lamb is known worldwide. In fact, I was at a market, and they had a big sale on New Zealand lamb. It was fresh, not frozen. I think they had to have frozen it a little bit, but yeah. Is eating meat like lamb, beef, pork okay occasionally?
Yeah, definitely. We sort of bounce off to the blue zones. These are places around the world where people live extraordinary long lives compared to many of the rest of us, and they have a predominantly plant-based diet. So there's definitely benefits in the plant-based scenario, but they don't rule out a good steak or some lamb or what have you. So I think where the technically where I think everybody's heading is that be plant-based where you can, but certainly don't you don't have to not have meat.
You, in the past, we've talked about this, and I guess it's part-time fasting is what I'll call it. Okay. And I think you're the one who told me, if you get up at 6, don't eat breakfast until 11.
Yeah, that's right. That's what my wife and I both do this. So we have 2 to 3 days a week where we actually only have one meal a day. So we have a beautiful evening meal. So we typically will have our last, we'll have Sunday dinner, and then we won't eat again until Monday night, and then again until Tuesday night, and then occasionally even until Wednesday night. So and then we typically skip breakfast. And the purpose of this is because, one, I love food. And when I do eat, I want to have a beautiful meal and not to worry too much about what I'm eating. But two, there's some real health benefits around having the body be a little hungry. It's something that we've forgotten typically, but it's becoming more and more. There's more and more awareness around it. That thing about breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I believe that was actually a marketing campaign that's forgotten through time, but maybe 50 years ago, a cereal company wanted to let us know that actually you got to eat at breakfast. The reality is, it's really good for us not to eat, because it flips that mTOR switch we were talking about into hungry mode. And when we do that, it triggers the body to do lots of housekeeping, get rid of those dodgy proteins that might have broken down, and those zombie cells, clear them out. We don't need them. And when we eat again, body just rebuilds it all nice and fresh. It's amazing.
There's another kind of cell that you talk about. I'm going to mispronounce it. Senescent cells?
Senescent.
And
Yeah.
what are those? Are those good or good cells or bad cells?
So the senescent cell is actually the medical term for zombie cell. And it's just, zombie cell describes these senescent cells so well, because they sit there and they are like living dead. They're not doing anything very particularly helpful. And in fact, they're actually causing problems, because they release all these chemicals around them that damage the health of the cells
Mhm.
surrounding them. So senescent cells, they're really useful until they're not. And so they're useful when we're young. A senescent cell, what really means is a cell that's stopped dividing. When you cut yourself, and when you have, you rebuild that tissue and you have a scar, the body needs to turn those cells off, because you don't want to keep scarring. And so that's an example of a senescent cell happening when we're young. And they actually release these chemicals because it's an SOS to the immune system to say, hey, get me out of here. And so the immune system goes and mops it all up. And when we're young, that's all good and that works beautifully. But we get a few gray hairs, and all of a sudden senescent cells become an issue.
So these are this is caused, I'm going to do it like this. This is caused by those cells, the gray hair?
So gray hair is associated with lack of stem cells and senescent cells, yes.
How do I, other than Lady Clairol or men's Clairol, how do is there a way of reversing that, as well as reversing other aging factors in the body?
There's starting to be some pretty strong clues that that is the case, yes. And, I think we'll be the last generation that has to suffer through my condition, which is a lack of follicles, and your condition is a silver fox.
Oh, bless you.
So it's just, these things are related to aging, relating to stem cells that decline, and the stem cell pools that get tired as we age. And so yes, these outward reflections of age are starting to be treatable. And so we will, we've got a range of supplements, Mark, and don't really want to spend too much time on that, but we are seeing people experience less grey hair and less hair form with the supplements. So we know that when we're tackling the perhaps aesthetic sides of aging, that we're doing well on the inside as well.
Well, I know that I don't care about the color of my hair. It can come in green, as long as it still comes in. But
Yeah.
there are other aging factors, cardiovascular health, mental health. I want to wake up at 118 and say, wow, what a great day. I'm Mark. right?
Absolutely. Mhm.
It's just something that, and that's what most people want.
Yeah, and that's what's so exciting about being a human right now, is that there's technology here which is going to allow us to do that. And the beautiful thing with that is, we start to do the right things today. With every year, there is more and more advancements in understanding how aging works at a molecular and cellular level. And there are some very smart scientists out there cracking the code. And, just like your mechanic understands your car engine from exhaust well, it's battery now, isn't it? Right. So, but that level of understanding is coming in from a cellular perspective, and there's going to become a point in the not too distant future where we'll be able to reprogram ourselves and reprogram them back to youthfulness. And that's happening at a pretty exciting pace. And we've got very good insights into what we can do now from a lifestyle perspective, a supplement perspective, and that'll get us fit and well, and maybe for another couple of decades, and that'll give these scientists time to even work out more what's happening. And so, we've got a fairly long and exciting life ahead of us with
Do you
this
think that
technology.
do you think that lifespan will be expanded from, what is it, 80 in women and 78 in men, to double that?
It's completely feasible, absolutely, and that seems a little hard to believe. But when I would talk with people, it was only 100 years ago that we worked out that bacteria caused illness, right? And so before that, everybody thought it was just bad odors or bad spirits. And when we worked out that it was bacteria, then we worked out how to deal to those bacteria, and that's through antibiotics. And so where we're at right now is in 2013. Researchers and scientists agreed on the 9 hallmarks of aging, and these are 9 functional areas of our cells that decline with age. Senescent cells or zombie cells is one of them. And really, what's more exciting than identifying 9 areas of our cells that decline with age is it gives scientists 9 targets to work on to intervene and have an effect on that. And that's what we're doing right now, is focusing on how do we reverse the 9 hallmarks of aging and put ourselves in a much better space. And right now, it might not mean that we get to 118, but we might get to 100 with good health. And that's the main thing. It's about expanding that health span.
Yeah, you want good health. You want a long lifespan, but you want to have a health span too. As I said, I want to be able to wake up and say, I'm Mark, be mentally alert, and I want to move on my own power. I don't want somebody to have to dress me, take me to the restroom or anything like that. That's not a life.
It's not a life. The joy of aging. It's not a perfect thing, but what's so positive about what we know now is that we can start to influence that and have, at the moment, maybe 20, even 30 more healthy years simply by diet and exercise and the various supplements that are available now.
Can you tell us a little bit about your supplements? And are they
Yeah,
available here in the US?
they are. We have them on Amazon, and finally on Amazon, FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, so that it's not a couple of weeks. They can turn up pretty quickly. Mark, what we've done is there's the 9 hallmarks of aging, and as mentioned before, they're the 9 functional areas of our cells that decline with age. And what we've done is develop a formula which addresses the main issue that's driving aging, which is our DNA and how our DNA copes with the damage that is associated with aging. Then we move on to these things called mitochondria and support the energy elements of the cell.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a formula which helps the body remove or identify and remove these zombie cells. And so the combination of that 1, 2, 3 hit is it puts ourselves in an amazing position to just deal with the challenge of time.
Got it. Well, and so you can go to Amazon. What's the name of the product again?
Yeah, so my company is called SRW Laboratories. So it's S for science, R for research, and W for wellness. But if you type in SRW supplement into Amazon.com, or you could visit our website, which is srw.co, not com.co, then you'll see what we're doing, and look, it's a really interesting space because the results we're getting are phenomenal.
That is really terrific. I look forward to that. Thank you very much. Listen, it's been too long. Okay. So I'm trying to convince Greg to appear on our cooking show. You have a young niece, I think, around 13, who does a YouTube channel cooking. Maybe we'll get her too. And that would be a lot of fun. So you and your wife can do it together in your
That'll be
kitchen.
brilliant. Yeah,
Okay. All
I know
right.
she'd love. I know she'd love that completely.
All right. Great. Think of a
Yeah.
recipe. You're on my list.
All right, brilliant, Mark. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Hold on a second. I'm Mark Alyn. Thanks for watching. This is Late Night Health.